Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Teno Merkaba, and today I would like to say happy end of retrograde. Retrograde ended on Sunday, and I'm so happy because I was trying to make all these videos, but I just couldn't talk. I just couldn't, and if I said something, then I would stutter a lot, or like it just wasn't working out. Basically, it really just wasn't working out. But I'm back, and today on today's astrology series we're going to be talking about the elements in astrology. So there are 4 elements, right? And then everything else has just like, all these elements have their subtypes, right? So let's start with the fire element, right? Because of Aries being the first sign. So the fire element is that of, oh wait, actually let me just, how many, so we have fire, and then we have earth, and then we have air and water, right? And like I said, everything else, like water, there's the subtype of water is like fluids, like blood, juice, alcohol, whatever, you know. And then the subtypes to fire would be like electricity, I don't know, shit like that, you know. And then subtype to earth would be like trees, plants, our bodies, you know, like houses and shit, you know, grass, whatever, rocks. And then the subtype to air would be like gases, I want to say smoke, but smoke, like when you blow shit out, I want to say that's air, but that could also very well just be fire or a cusp. Oh, I actually need to do a cusping thing too. Like cusp, like when you mix fire and earth, that creates lava. And then earth and air, that's dust. And then air and water, that's a cloud. And then water and fire is what's this? Steam science. Okay, so the sun is so bright, but I'm filming like at an earlier time than usual. So if I be doing this like a light skin, just know the sun is like ooh. So guys, okay, let's start with fire, like I said. So fire, all the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, right? All of these signs are fire signs. Now what does fire do? Fire burns anything, right? And it makes it pure. Ash is pure. Ash is the most purest thing ever because it's been burnt, right? Now, how do fire signs play this, like human being fire signs play this out? When you approach a fire sign with a lie, for example, or let's just say you're like somebody that is most indirect, right? Fire signs see right through that shit because they burn through the filter of it. Now let's just say, I think I've used this example, but I'll use my mom as an example. My mom is a Libra. Now Libras have this tendency of being indirect. Instead of asking you directly, hey, go make me juice, Libra will be like, I'm so thirsty. I wish I had somebody to come make me. You see, that's indirect. Now, a fire sign will see right through that shit, right? Now, some people, like for example, if it's a Taurus will kind of get the hint that a Libra is so thirsty, and then they'll go ahead and do something about it. But a fire sign, because fire signs burn through reality, they burn through what you, through like your beautiful words, and then they see what you actually mean. Right now, that example that I just used, that's an example of how they use like their fire energy. So fire also, let's actually wait, let me even like go back to the beginning. So we have our masculine signs, and then we have our feminine signs, right? We have our masculine elements, and then we have our feminine elements. And then we have our masculine feminine and our feminine masculine, right? Now let me break that shit down. So air and earth are on the left brain. They are left brain, elements. What do I mean by left brain, right? Left brain meaning logic, right? That L, logic left, right? Logic meaning obviously breaking things down into a science. That's what air and earth signs are about. They're about breaking things into a logical, a factual conclusion. That's what air signs and earth signs are about, right? And then we have the feminine sides, the feminine signs, which are fire and water, right? Now, feminine meaning they are more intuitive, right? They're more in the creative matters, the artsy shit, you know? The behind the scenes. Not what's presented, not the words, but how you felt about something. Though we have those sides. Now, within the masculine or the logical sides and the feminine sides, we have the masculine, and then we have the masculine feminine, and then we have the feminine masculine, and then we have the feminine, right? Now let's talk about the masculine. So we have the logical side, and then we have the right. This is the left side, and then the right side, right? Now the left side, the logical side of things, we have the most masculine, which is air, right? So air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, right? They are, well, air signs are like pushing out. And if you watched my last video, I explained how masculine energy is pushing out energy, and then feminine is receiving. Just like your sun sign is you're pushing out an energy, and then your moon sign is you receiving energy, right? Is how you, like, basically your internal self. Oh. So, with that, right? With air signs are masculine. They are the masculine side of the left brain. And then earth signs are the feminine side of the left brain, right? So, essentially, what I mean by this is, because both of them are dealing with the intellect, earth signs have to receive that shit first before they show their love to you, right? Air signs, they're pushing out that energy and giving it to you, right? Now, what I mean by that, and like I said, I'm going to refer back to my other video. The earth signs first have to, and depending on, let's start with Taurus. Actually, Taurus is ruled by Venus, right? That's love and appreciation, blah 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 blah. So before a Taurus shows you their love, they have to receive that first from you, and then they can start opening themselves up to you, right? Whereas Libras, who are the masculine side of Venus, they are constantly pushing out their love to you, right? And that's how they connect with you, by pushing out their love to you, because it's a masculine sign. It's the air is the masculine logical side, whereas earth is the feminine logical side, right? So whereas earth signs will have, and both of air and earth are dealing with the intellect, like I say, but they express their intellect differently. Air signs then communicate their intellect, but an earth sign have to practicalize their thoughts. So what do I mean by this too? Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. When they think about, if they have a thought, they first have, it's going to be filtered through, does this make sense to express? Does it hold any tangible value to express? Like, am I just talking just so I can hear my own voice? Or what I'm saying actually has some value to it that's actually going to be like received in a way that, hey, this is something that you can use in your life that will bring stability, right? Whereas air signs will, how they express their intellect is by talking, communicating their thoughts, right? Now, see the difference? Earth signs hold in their thoughts and then they filter through, does this make sense? But this is all internal. Then again, see, because they are the internal logical side. So with that, they're gonna think about shit right? And then it's gonna filter through, does this make sense? And if it does make sense, then they will either communicate it to somebody else, but most of the time it'll be communicated in order to help, right? And now with that help, they have practicalized their help. Or let's say they have an idea to build something. An air sign will have an idea to, let's say they want to build something, they'll communicate, they'll tell you, I have these ideas. But an earth sign will be like, okay, you have all these ideas, but like, are you gonna bring it down into reality? Are you gonna practicalize it? Like, because you can have all the ideas in the world, but how are you gonna show for that shit, you know? I don't know why sorry about that. So yeah, that's the thing with earth signs. They're gonna like, okay, you have these ideas, and they'll sit there and listen to you talk, like, okay, and they'll criticize you if your shit doesn't make sense. Like an earth sign will like, oh, okay, they'll know inside their head, like, okay, this person is just talking just to talk, but they're not really action orientated. They're not gonna practicalize their ideas, right? So that's the thing with earth signs. Now air signs, how they an air sign can have an idea, right? They be having like, that's why air signs talk a lot. I talk Virgos too, but that's because of like Mercury and shit, you know. Obviously Mercury is the planet of communication, blah blah blah. But air signs talk a lot, right? Because everything that's happening out here, they express. But if an air sign doesn't talk a lot, they're thinking a lot. Guarantee they're thinking a lot, right? But that's because of other placements. But just generally, as talking about the element. Now, with that, let's get to the feminine side. So we have fire, which is the masculine side of the right brain, and then we have water, which is the feminine side of the right brain, right? So let's start with water, right? So water is internal, right? This is an internal thing. We can even compare this to blood and shit, but now it's another video. Water is a feminine thing, right? So it's internal. So before water signs express their empathy and their care for you, they have to first receive it from you. But it's different because obviously Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces are ruled by different planets. They have different modalities, and it's just different, right? Cancer is cardinal, Scorpio is fixed, Pisces is mutable. So how they receive love is going to be different. See, a Cancer will have to receive your caring, how you nurture, like how you care for them, how you nurture them, and how you like go about dealing with your domestic issues in terms of them. Scorpios have to feel your passion first, feel your aggression, feel your intention first before they open up to you. And Pisces have to feel your spirituality, your creativity, and your intuition, but your imagination first before they open up to you, right? When I say open up to you, I mean like for them to like fully show their own like, you know, earth signs and water signs, the feminine side, they'll be the people that sit back and first analyze you, first watch you, and that whole watching is like they're receiving all your energy. And then once they feel like, oh, okay, this person resonates with how I do shit, then they'll start like expressing themselves and showing you who they are, right? Whereas the air signs and the fire signs like are already constantly showing you who they are. And then once they are comfortable with you, then they step into the receiving side of being like a lot more receiving. And by this, it's like they become like a lot more calm. And by calm, I mean that they become like, if they're constantly pushing out energy, they're constantly communicating and they're constantly expressing, because fire signs are expressing, right? So they're constantly doing that. Once they get comfortable with you, they'll do that too, but they also show you they're more they're like the receiving side part of them, where they also sit back and then watch you. And then once they see that, oh, you actually know how to express yourself the same way I do, then they do that more, that type of thing, you know. So so good. Like, these nachos are so good. Anyway, let's get to what, as I was saying, with water signs. So water signs are receiving emotions, right? So water signs are dealing with your emotions, right? Not so much your feelings, because feelings is dealing with Venus, but your emotions and your reactional states, right? So water absorbs. Water, if you, like, for example, if you had to put a sponge in water, it's gonna absorb it. There's nachos in here and there's a lemon in here, right? So eventually the water is going to become, it's gonna like somehow penetrate through the what's the word for this? They're gonna penetrate through the solidness of the fruits, right? And then eventually just become one with it. So it's merging. So water signs are dealing with merging, but it's all internal. That's why when water signs date, they like to become one, because they're absorbing in each other. That's why water signs, they're an internal emotional, like emotional sign, because they absorb, so they keep in those emotions. Whereas fire signs, which leads me to this, fire signs are pushing out emotions and trying to detach from them. So what fire signs and air signs have in common is detaching. So fire signs they don't want to hold in emotion. That's why they're always expressing things and expressing how they feel, right? And to an air, like, water signs and fire signs can get along, but sometimes a water sign might be like, dude, you don't always have to like tell people how you feel. Some things are just better left inside of you, right? But a fire sign will always want to express how they feel, and with that comes honesty. So like, they kind of they're like showing you what emotions look like. See, that's what fire does. It shows you what is going on inside by being creative, because fire deals with creativity and dealing with basically how you express yourself, and how you express yourself it can be creative, you know, especially when you're a Leo, because it's ruled by the 5th house, and that's the house of creativity and enjoyment and entertainment and all of that. But that's the thing with fire signs, right? So they're taking their insides and they're constantly pushing it out, right? They're constantly like showing you, okay, this is how I feel, and they're gonna show you with their body movement how they feel. So with this, why I say fire signs burn through reality is because they're right brain, right? And obviously right brain is dealing with the internal realm, the intuition realm, the imagination realm. But the only difference between fire signs, and not the only difference, but the difference between fire signs and water signs is that water signs are keeping that shit in. So you may never know that a water sign is, unless they're a Cancer, because especially a Cancer sun sign, because Cancers can't help but show their emotions, especially Cancer sun. But if it's in the moon, then it's different, because you won't see that. But just generally, you won't really know what water signs are feeling unless they express it to you, right? Unless they show you with their body, with their face, that this is what I'm feeling. And the showing part is the fire part. Fire signs do that. They show you how they feel with their body and all of that shit, right? So that's the thing with fire signs. Now, when we get to the different fire signs, is Aries fire is cardinal, right? And cardinal means initiating shit, like starting. So if there's this one example that I like, once I got into astrology, I understood the cardinal mutable and cardinal fixed and mutable like this, right? So cardinal signs are the ones telling people, use this road, use this road, use this road. And then the fixed signs are the people that are driving in the car, right? So they're consistent within the driving. So they're like, if the cardinal signs are like, do this, and then the fixed signs are already like, okay, we know where we're going, so let's just be consistent and stay on this one road until we get to the destination. And the mutable signs are the signs that once you get into the destination, then you kind of see how everybody got there, and how everybody was feeling, and you kind of, you know how to, okay, Aunt Susie used this road because she knows this road better, and Jackie used this road, and like, you know what I'm saying? You see, like, the mutable signs just kind of like, they're the ones that, like, they can, like, they understand how everybody got to where they are. Basically, they understand how everyone got to the conclusion that they got to, you know. So that's the thingies. So yeah, that's my video on the elements. Bye.